Welcome to another exciting episode of A Grain of Salt, where you never know quite what's going to happen next, or what I might say or do. I was thinking about singing a song, but I thought, I don't want to torture them people no more than I have to. Maybe I should bring in a band. I don't know where we'd fit them in here, but and they could sing, and we could have some kickoff music, for the program. And heck, I don't know, I'm open to ideas. If you got any ideas on the format, if we need to change it or whatever. Oh, sorry. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. That too. But I just got some more thoughts about John chapter 11. I hope that you've read it. If you I know a lot of you've probably read it years gone by and hadn't touched it in a while, but if you have, I'm open to any thoughts that you might have about John chapter 11 or anything that I talk about. Maybe you've got a comment about how bad wrong I am. I can take it. I've been wrong so many times. But at any rate, just kind of go into it a little bit, the meat of it. John chapter 11, we see where the sisters, Mary and Martha, had sent word to Yeshua, who was over in Bethabara, which is about 20-something miles away, a day's journey anyway. And they had sent word that, they said, the words was, him whom you love, Jesus, is sick. And so the messenger got to Jesus, and when Jesus heard the message, he looked around at his disciples and he said, this sickness right here is not to end in death, but for the glory of God. That's what this sickness is for the glory of God. And not that only, but so that the Son of God may be glorified in it. In what? This sickness. I know that hurts a lot of people's feelings in their theology, but that's what it says. That's what it says. And I used to try to explain things away too that I read, and you come to find out that you're fighting an uphill battle to try to go against, the scriptures. And so that's what it says. It was for the glory of God. This whole thing. Not just his sickness, but he died too. He died. 4 days dead. For the glory of God. How do you get around that? How do you say, no, that's not exactly what happened, But this happened for the glory of God. So, you go on reading, and so he heard Lazarus was dead, made that statement, and then after that, it says he waited 2 more days. 2 more days. The man he loved, all of them loved him. You keep reading it, it says Lazarus, our friend, is dead. So he was a friend to all of them. And it says he stayed 2 more days. And he said after that, after 2 days had passed, so we're talking about 3rd day now into this thing. It's like he didn't want just him to be dead. He wanted to be good and dead. Good and dead. And I don't know if you could call death good. You understand my vernacular and my colloquialism and everything, but he didn't want there to be any way that anybody could say anything. Because you remember there's 2 other people he raised from the dead, and that's the ones that we found recorded in the book of John. He said he didn't record everything, but we know about the widow's son at Nain, and we know about Jairus' daughter. And they would bury people that day. When people would die in that time frame, they would bury them that day. They wouldn't embalm them like they would in Egypt. And so one of them, the widow's son, they were on their way to bury him, and he had raised him from the dead. And Jairus' daughter had been, died instantly, and he was right there. Some people might say, well, let's see, he resuscitated him. Well, there is no doubt that Lazarus is dead. And so, and he said, it says he waited 2 more days, and then he said, let's go back to Judea. And the boys said, they wanted to stone you while we were there last time. And then, Jesus makes this statement. He says, are there not 12 hours in a day? Remember that? I believe somewhere around verse 9 or 10, he said, are there not 12 hours in a day? He said, if anyone walks in the day or in the light, right? He does not stumble if he's walking in the light, because he sees the light of the world. And he goes on to say something like, but if anyone walks in the night, coming up on a stop sign here, you got to pay attention, or a stop light. If anyone walks in the night, well, if he walks in the night, he's going to stumble, because the light is not in him. And for a long time, I wondered what that meant. And maybe maybe some of y'all out there know better than I do. But what I gather from this, because of the boy's statement, look, they'll stone us if we go back over there. They were trying to stone you last time we was in Judea. You remember in John 10, he made a statement. He said, I and the Father are one. You remember that? And that blew him over the edge. They called him a blasphemer because he said such things. And they picked up stones to stone him, and so on and so forth. You can go back and read that. But I think he's trying to calm them down here with these words. If we walk in the light, in other words, this is what I think it means. If we're walking in the light, we're not going to stumble. If we're doing what we're supposed to do, if we're obedient to the Father, and we're doing what we're supposed to do, can't nothing hurt us. What can worry add? Can worry add 1 cubit to your stature? That kind of thing. Take no thought. And he says, but if you walk in the dark, you're going to stumble. So it's better for you if you're obedient, because you can't lengthen or shorten your life. Be obedient. Take everything I say with a grain of salt, and remember to the widows, orphans, and the poor. Love you.